As it relates to the region itself, you mentioned this. What about cooperation from other states? I mean, are you hoping this deal with the UAE leads others, like, for example, Bahrain? I know the big fish, if you will, Saudi Arabia at some point. I mean, that would be huge, obviously. What's your sense of how this might be a domino effect?
So we've looked at this, and I think the president mentioned it earlier today in the Oval Office. It's an icebreaker. It's a real icebreaker, and from here, not to mix metaphors, but I think the dominoes are likely to fall. Now, who, when, how? There are a lot of opportunities out there, and look, it's a great testament to Israel, to its strength, to its people, to what it's managed to develop and discover. I mean, Israel is a is a hub of so much that can help its neighbors. That I think it's a great testament to Israel that so many of the neighbors really want to be on the same team. The Emirates went first. Kudos to the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Zayed. Took great courage and leadership. Kudos to Prime Minister Netanyahu for seizing this opportunity. You know, there's a lot of politics going on in Israel, and I think he did what's best for the country, and we're grateful that he followed the request of President Trump to take this path. And of course, you know, the president did something here that neither his predecessor nor the predecessor before him was able to achieve, which is an agreement between Israel and an Arab country.
There's going to be some obvious pushback in Israel and here in America from some hardliners. We kind of talked about that a little bit. What's your message, though, to the hardliners to say, look, non-negotiable here, annexation, sovereignty, you know, that needs to be something to look at.
This agreement does not require Israel to give up 1 inch of land. So my advice to them is, look, take a deep breath. You can actually have your cake and eat it too. We can do this the easy way or the hard way. Let's try to get as much peace under our belt as possible. Okay, it is a rarity when that opportunity arises. You have to seize it, but in no way is anyone suggesting that Israel give up its rights to its biblical heartland. And you know, I think you can do both.
Let me ask you about Iran and how much that influence in the region, their influence in the region, kind of helped potentially, to a degree, broker this deal. Not that they brokered any sort of deal, but they're lurking in the background, and UAE, I would think, have a vested interest to see a stronger relationship with Israel.
Well, look, UAE and Israel and other countries in the Gulf share a common enemy, which is Iran.
Right.
And, you know, common enemies are significant inducements to bring countries closer together, but that's not all it is. You know, in my experiencing this process unfold, I was struck not just by the recognition of the ability to protect against common threats, but just the massive amount of upside that was available, independent of Iran, independent of the enemies, just the ability that these two countries have so much to achieve together. It's going to be fun to watch. I think we have great things to look forward to in this relationship.
By the way, you work with President Trump. This is obviously an historic deal. What do you make of the way he negotiates? A lot of people say this is kind of an ultimate art of the deal move.
I was going to say the same thing. You know, the author of The Art of the Deal has made a very artful deal. This is really, you know, he created, you know, sort of the tension. He created the opportunity, and then he allowed the parties to kind of rise to the occasion with his encouragement. This is what he does best. He really does this well, and I think he's got a few more tricks up his sleeve.